Hi there, how are you all? As you can see, I haven't ventured back home because obviously my journeys are a bit more different this time around. But welcome to a very special edition of the BNL Karting Series Update, being held here, not in the usual virtual background that you normally see me on, but in the hub of where I take my position in the commentary box in the tower overlooking pretty much the entire circuit. Thank you first of all for tuning in and getting the latest news from myself, Alex Goldschmidt, the official series commentator for the BNL Karting Series. As you can see, I am pretty much in casual attire because everything has now wound down after what was an exciting penultimate round of the 2020 season. Over 80 competitors from nearly 9 different nationalities ventured here to the home of champions at the fantastic 1,360 metre circuit, simply known as Karting Genk. So firstly, before we have a quick look back, a big thank you first of all for everyone that shared the 30-second clip of one of the most dynamite, explosive overtakes I have ever seen on turn 7 coming off of the Europlan. A big thank you to Zander Schublack for providing one of the biggest highlights that I have ever witnessed here at the BNL Karting Series. And just to give you an idea, here's that clip in full for your viewing pleasure.
Bescancenes and Van Parijs now 1.9 seconds. De Grand going up the inside of Knowlton through turn 6. Zander Schublack in the toe of the 487. Are the pair going to try and get past? Well, Zander Schublack trying to go around the outside of De Grand and makes it through on turn 7. How the heck did that one happen? Schublack was absolutely fully committed, had full self-confidence, full self-belief, and he made it work.
So, thank you all, Zander. Proficiat. So, we now have to look firstly at the people that make this possible, and there are plenty of thank yous that I need now to go through because it's only right to do this. You know, with the current situation at the moment, there are still a lot of restrictions. There is still a lot of working together, fighting a common cause, making sure that it is safe to go racing. And we here at the BNL, we pride ourselves on leading by example, following the rules, and also providing one hell of a show by racing our hearts out for you people at home, because obviously closed door event, once again, not able to host any spectators. So a big thank you to everyone out there watching, that watched the 2 days worth of action over 20 races, 10 different 5-minute qualification sessions. And what a weekend it was. Something I will never forget as a commentator. A true joy and a pleasure and an honour to be your voice. So the thank yous. The list is going to be longer than probably both my sleeves on my jumper at the moment that I'm currently wearing at the minute. But firstly, a big thank you to both the municipality and also the Mayor of Genk for still keeping their trust with us as we, as I said, we lead by example. We also have to thank the due diligence and also the cooperation of everyone from the teams, the drivers, the managers, the mechanics, and any additional people that were required for any drivers that were under the legal age of 18, which is the minimum requirement for signing official documentation. We also want to thank every single member of the marshalling crew that braved the elements from a torrential downpour of rainfall here on Saturday. We had mixed conditions on the Sunday. As I'm recording this, the sun is starting to beam through the clouds off of turn number 8 here at the circuit. A big thank you to the marshalling crew and for being so expedient as always, for ensuring that the cleanups are quick. We also have to thank our clerk of the course, our race controllers, our race director, and also every single member of staff that was involved behind the scenes, from timing to reception to administration to also driver relations, our stewards from the Royal Automobile Club of Belgium, MW Race Consulting, and Camp Company GmbH, led by Mike Wagner. We'd like to thank them as well, their entire team, including the camera people, the crew working the stream as well, for their help, for being able to provide you people at home that have been unable to join us due to, once again, it being a closed door event. A big thank you to them. And also a big thank you to everyone that interacted on our social media channels. You can find the links in the description down below of obviously Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and of course our website, available both in English and Nederlands. So a big thank you to you all for your patience and understanding amidst these difficult times. However, let's have a look back at the action, shall we? So in Micromax, the weekend winner was Max Swiderski, who now has a comfortable lead in the standings. He's on 190 points. His 100% success rate faltered on day one because Mies Huben also secured 2 victories. So between the pair of them, they shared the spoils. So Huben was dominant on Saturday. Swiderski came fighting back in true style on the Sunday. But on countback, Swiderski took the weekend win and hit the top step. Mies Huben would finish runner-up and is on 152 points going into the final race weekend of the season. Also, Mads van Hooyen in the number 3 had a very consistent and solid weekend. Wasn't able to challenge the 2 in front. However, the number 3 from the Netherlands managed to take the 3rd place on the podium and also is now 3rd on the standings, 19 points behind Mies Huben on 133. Jake Menton rounds out the top 4 both in the event result for the weekend but also in the standings on 102 points. Boz Maximov unfortunately was not allowed to start and withdrew from the event for Sunday, so that provided Jenthe Moonen from Belgium a maiden podium for the very, very first time and was the sole Belgian in the field. So Boz Maximov rounds out the top 5 in the standings on 74 points, Jenthe Moonen 45 points, and it was his first ever race weekend. What a job by the number 10, the number 10 running on the Haas chassis. Minimax, it has been domination pretty much for this weekend for Thomas Strauve in the 199 for Dams Racing. And it was also a Belgian 1-2 on the podium with Buvin Power's Matej Radenkovic trying to do the utmost to close the gap on Strauven. But Strauven took 3 wins out of 4. Radenkovic took a victory on the final race of the weekend, having played the karting chess game with the 199. So great to see them having fantastic racecraft, and it kept us entertained and enthralled throughout the weekend. And at the moment, it's 181 points to Strauve and 158 to Radenkovic. Rino Franco in the 111 from GKS Lemons Power had a bit of a topsy-turvy weekend, let's be honest, as the 111 suffered a dramatic technical failure off of the outside of turn number 9 in the 2nd race on Saturday. So the final, you could see how disappointed the youngster was, but he managed to compose himself back for Sunday and came back fighting. However, the Dutch driver would finish 3rd in the weekend results and also is 3rd in the championship standings, around 23 points behind Matej Radenkovic. We only had one Austrian venture here to Karting Genk, and that was Nando Weichselbaumer in the 146. And he had a bit of bad luck as well, and a fair share of incidents which dropped the Austrian down the order throughout proceedings, but still is 4th in the standings, took 4th on the weekend podium and is on 99 points. Thiemann Huben and Jasper Leenerts, definitely 2 of the stars that were really, apart from the lead battles, were keeping my my attention peaked, so to speak, as they were battling away with Mick van der Berg and also Vic Stevens. So some great battling in the mid-pack, and it was a maiden podium in Minimax and also a maiden 3rd place finish on one of the races on Saturday, which was the final, giving the young Belgian, who was represented Team Belgium in Minimax over the past 2 years at the Rotax Grand Finals at both Conde Pareba in Brazil in 2018 and last year in Sarno at a fantastic circuit in southern Italy, just off of Naples. Now, Junior Rotax, new championship leader, and it just so happens to be the Belgian wonderkind that is Kai Gielitz, who is also at the moment leading the Rotax Max Euro Trophy. However, the gap is so close between the top three, and as a result of countback and taking the weekend victory, Gielitz is now on the top step in the lead of the standings on 135 points, level peggings with his Dutch teammate at JJ Racing, the 210 of Lucas Schoenmakers. Tim Gerhardt, who came into this round in the lead of the standings, now drops to third, but is only 4 points behind the duo. So Junior Rotax definitely picking up another gear. And Tim Gerhardt did have a 10-second post-race penalty in the first race of the weekend, the pre-final on Saturday, for a failed attempt of trying to reposition the front fairing, and was given a 10-second penalty after discussions between race control, the stewards and the driver. So it was a failed attempt. The driver was, Tim was aware, and also his father, that there could have been an exclusion from that race as a result of trying to do so. However, Jens van der Eyden was, by clear definition, the standout driver, along with Max Knappen. So the 254 and the 248 really came good in the latter stages of the weekend. And I remember Jens van der Eyden celebrating. I thought he was going to be like a cowboy on his steed, so like, you know, doing this in the cart on the slowdown lap, and it was one of the most enjoyable celebrations. It does come a clear second best to Baz Lammer's win of the final at round one, with both arms and both legs outstretched out of the cart as he crossed the finish line. But we'll get into DD2 a little bit later on. Christian de Klein was the most notable absentee for the final on Sunday. Now, there was an incident that was classed, in the words of race control and the stewards, as unsportsmanlike behaviour. And there was an incident between him and the 267 of Turn Schmidt as they came down from turn 10, from turn 9, and de Klein literally went right, and you could probably tell by the way that it was happening. You're going to have to look at the race itself. Literally cut across Turn Schmidt, hit the 267 on the left hand side, and Turn Schmidt went spinning off onto the grass. So de Klein was disqualified promptly from all of Sunday and was not allowed to run in the final. Senior Rotax, we now head to another championship lead change. Lewis Gilbert, who was not here this weekend due to obviously the current restrictions, is no longer leading the championship, dropping to 5th, having scored 73 points at round 1. But it was KR Sports' Sean Butcher in the 357 that put the frighteners on everybody and puts everyone on notice here at Karting Genk, because he now has a lead of 42 points. 147 to him, and then also 105 points to the second place driver in the championship, who remains in that position following the opening round, the 376, my apologies, Mike van Vugt from the Netherlands. Not a great day for Van Vugt, but you saw other drivers start to make themselves known in the title fight. Whether it's not the first place on the rostrum overall after the championship is concluded in late November, but watch out for Luca Leistra and Milan Koppens, both from Belgium, both from Bovin Power. And, you know, at the end of the day, Leistra would have a win in race 3, a second in race 2, and finished 4th in the final race. And we'll get to the final race in a minute, because that was a cracker. As now I mentioned Milan Koppens, and this is where it gets interesting. Koppens took 2 second-place finishes, including the epic grandstand final race of the weekend. Now, we had the likes of Andreas Heber and Arthur Roche, and the latter being really competitive, taking pole position and the pre-final win on Saturday. But for both French drivers, it was a tale of two stories for the two. Roche struggled on day 2, and Hebel looked to be a bit more consistent. But it was Milan Coppens that really sprung one hell of a surprise. And you need to see the last sort of 2 minutes of the senior Rotax race to just give you an idea of exactly what I was talking about. And I've never seen anything like that. We had the live timing have an issue during the race. We can only apologise about that. These things do happen. But we came onto the final lap. Drake Jansen from SP Motorsport was leading ahead of Sean Butcher. Milan Coppens started to close on the Brit, going through, and this was on the final lap, through into turn 5. They then went down the Europlan, having exited turn number 6. And then it was a case of when was Butcher and also Coppens about to strike to see if they could get past Drake Jansen. So we get on through the exit of turn 9. Butcher takes the lead with 3 corners to go. And I could not believe my eyes. I think I used the words, maybe someone might need to get a defibrillator on standby. And then we get through turn 10. Coppens is closing on Drake Jansen like nobody's business. And we get to the 12th and final corner of the lap, and also the final corner of the race. And Jansen runs wide, Coppens up the inside, gets the slingshot out of the final corner, and takes second by a whisker. What a great race weekend. So Milan Coppens now is 4th in the championship, just a point behind Luca Leistra. Lewis Gilbert retains 5th in the championship at the moment. The Dorey Diamond, as I said, unable to come here due to the current restrictions in the United Kingdom with regards to travel and coming over here to Belgium. Andreas Hebel now moves up to 6th in the championship. Next up, the most explosive category. Now I didn't mention that about seniors because it was, for those wondering, that you might have seen our post about the race weekend, which will be published in Vroom International very, very shortly in their next edition. However, on the BNL Karting Series website, you can have a look. Click on the link on the description below. You will find out everything you need to know, but I'm going to tell you anyway, because what an enthralling pair of races for DD2 and DD2 Masters. We had to amalgamate the classes because of the fact that the numbers had dwindled so much. However, it provided us with some fantastic racing. So it was a dead heat between the Bouvin-powered teammates, the Belgian Titans, as I've now called them, Glenn van Parijs and Sander Schublack. Now, on the benefit of Sander Schublack's final race, where he did the overtake of the weekend, as you've seen earlier on in this very special edition of the BNL Karting Series updates, around the outside of Sebastian de Grand through turn 7, and could have actually gotten Mick Knowlton if there was enough room to do so. However, a failed attempt a couple of laps earlier nearly saw the 401, the two-time defending champion, go off and nearly hit the barriers off of turn number 7. However, Schublack started from 14th, which was effectively last in that race because 4 drivers had actually opted not to start the last race of the weekend, and that included DD2 and DD2 Masters. So in the pre-final on Sunday, with about a minute and a half to go, Van Parijs went up the inside of Schublack, going through into turn 7. Schublack instantly counters, goes up the inside through the exit of the corner. Then Van Parijs switches to the inside for turn 8. They come out of the corner and the pair clash. And they did a bit of grass cutting on the outside of turn 8, let me be completely honest here. And it was effectively a racing incident. I thought that, having looked over the footage again and again, I can understand that race control would not have put a penalty on that because they were battling for position. They were battling for the lead. So that allowed Mick Knowlton to take first, I think, ahead of Jan Negusens, who now moves up the standings as well. We'll get onto the rest of the field in a minute. But it was Sander Schublack's drive that was fully committed, full of self-belief, and a champion's drive, because he is the 2-time reigning and defending DD2 champion here in the BNL Karting Series. So Schublack took the overall race weekend win on the same amount of points as Van Parijs, but because of Zander's second place finish in the last race of the weekend, he took the top step. And also, félicitations pour la France. Paulo Bessancenez in the 4:53 managed to get himself up into the lead of the race for the final race of the weekend, and quite comfortably took 3rd on the podium, but he was just 2 points ahead, adrift. And so I asked him, I had a chat with him after, and I said, great job in the final. He asked me if he could see the results, and I said, 2 points, mate. If you'd had 3 points, you would have been on the top step. He went, oh no. That's life, isn't it? Well, there you go. That's how competitive these drivers are. And hopefully, Paulo, we will see you back at BNL 3 at the tail end of the season. So Van Parijs now has a lead of 30 points. He's on 157 after this race weekend. Zonda Shiblak on 127. Mick Knowlton rounds out the top three. He had dramas. He broke down on the last lap, I believe, here on the final on Sunday. He's on 98 points. Buzz Lammers, who was running at the KZ World Championships at Lonato this past weekend, finishing third behind Martin Kremers, the previous world champion and the first ever French driver, Jeremy Iglesias from France, to become the first ever French gearbox world champion. Congratulations to all three on that podium there, and well done. Fantastic job. And hopefully, Buzz, we see you back for the final round, my friend. I want to see that celebration again. Then we turn our attention to DD2 Masters, and once again, we've had another championship lead change, and it's the third out of 6 categories where this has happened, as it was a near a perfect weekend for France's Rudy Champion from Piquet's Competition in the 544, who took 3 out of 4 victories, finishing second in one of the races, which was race 2, the final on Saturday afternoon, as defending champion Carl Klebort managed to leap up the order and also finish in the runner-up spot after the weekend result. So Rudy Champion now on 161 points. Christophe Adams having a little bit of arm trouble this weekend just gone, drops down to second in the standings on 127 points. Carl Klebort moves up to 4th in the standings with a total haul of over 80 points this past weekend. So great to see De Barker back on fine fettle and fine form. Tamsin Germain from the United Kingdom was one of 3 Brits in both DD2 and DD2 Masters combined, and she rounded out the podium and also moves up to 3rd in the standings on 104 points, just ahead of the 510 of Carl Klebort. Tom Dessert again having difficulties this weekend. Lady Luck has not been on the 530 side over this weekend and also the opening round. James Beecroft, another Brit who competed in the first round of the season, unable to make it this weekend. So that's effectively the BNL Karting Series update. A very special edition here from the commentary box at Karting Genk, the home of champions, and I hope you guys have enjoyed being with me for the last 20 plus minutes. However, November 21st and 22nd, we go into battle for the 3rd and final time for our 13th season here in 2020. We will crown our 2020 champions here at the home of champions, and what's more, give tickets away for the prized opportunity of a lifetime to compete for their respective countries and also for themselves at the rescheduled 2020 Rotax Max Challenge Grand Finals that will take place at the Cartódromo Internacional do Algarve in Portimão in Portugal between the 23rd and the 30th of January next year. So that's it from me. Thank you very much for watching. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Look after yourselves. Goodbye.